Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's time for another Godhome classroom video, and in this video and the two that are going to follow it, we're going to focus on bosses that are found at the end of the first three pantheons. Since we've already looked at Pure Vessel, who's at the end of the fourth, and I'm still recovering from the trauma that was Absolute Radiance and Markoth on Radiant, I figured going back to these bosses would be a good distraction. So without further ado, let's look at the Brothers Oro and Mato. As always, this video is going to focus on Oro and Mato's attacks and then demonstrate a no-hit run of the fight. This time I'm going to be showing the no-hit on Radiant difficulty, as I already had footage of it from one of my live streams, but the strategy and the tips that I show are obviously going to work for all the difficulties. As usual, this content is aimed at helping newer players who might be struggling to learn the boss's moves and movement. Oro and Mato are, I think, a really fun pair of bosses. Especially because you don't get to fight them in the story mode of the game, it's fun to see these new bosses and try new things. But if you have done the story mode fully, you are likely no stranger to Oro and Mato, and seeing them working together is rewarding in and of itself, if you ask me. This fight is going to begin with Oro, but halfway through the battle, Mato is going to join in. They do have very similar moves, but have a few differences, and we're going to talk about those right now. To begin, in the Pantheon or on the Attuned difficulty, Oro has 500 health, and then when Mato joins, they have 800 and 1000 health respectively. On Ascended or Radiant difficulties, Oro begins with 600 health, and then they each have 1000 when Mato joins in. Oro begins the fight with a relatively small moveset. The first of these moves is Double Slash. Oro is going to attack 2 times with his nail, once horizontally and once vertically. He has some forward movement with each swipe, so the range on this attack from either brother is deceptive. I tend to wait out the first swipe, or just kind of jump over it, and then attack after the second swipe, and for some reason I find it easier to dodge if I'm jumping or coming in from the air. The next attack we're going to look at is Jump Slash. Oro just jumps at you based on your location before the jump animation triggers. That's very important. They decide where they're going to land before they jump. And then they swipe down towards you. It's pretty easy to dodge this, either with a dash or a shade cloak. But another way you can just kind of get through it is to use Descending Dark to do a lot of damage. But you just gotta be careful because, like, again, the range on this attack can be deceptive, and if you land or don't time it right, you can take some damage after your invincibility frames wear off. The other move that Oro has is his signature nail art, the Dash Slash. In this move, Oro will kind of charge up in a corner of the arena and then do an attack that will hit basically the entire floor. I find it easiest just to kind of jump over and dash, or kind of pogo off when he charges at you. Then you can get a couple hits in from the back maybe, or even charge up your own nail art and hit him as he's flying past. Oro also has some little roll or hop movements that he can use to reposition, but these aren't really that special or worth talking about. And that's pretty much it for Oro, but on his own, Oro is really usually not that difficult. Once he staggers, Mato is going to fall from the sky and join in the fight, and that's where things are going to get a little more spicy. If you are doing a normal run of the fight, this stagger animation when Mato joins in is actually a pretty good place to heal up if you haven't already. Because otherwise you don't really get, there are definitely chances to if you can get your timing down, but it's hard, so why not just take the opportunity to get three heals in while you can. Once they are together, Oro and Mato basically do the same moves, but they do them in what the wiki calls alternating strikes. So they basically just do one attack after another, taking turns like going after you. They use Double Slash, they use Jump Slash. And that can go on for 4 to 6 rotations of that before they try to do something else. If you do happen to get in the middle of them, they will do something else. They will use a twin combo attack where the brothers will charge at you using double slashes or jump slashes. Sometimes they're simultaneous, sometimes they're kind of stagger a little bit, so you have to kind of like weave in and out. And they're going to get closer and closer to you with every nail swipe, so you got to be really careful not to get in the middle too often, But sometimes if you're in the middle, you can use that to your advantage, and you can use like an Abyss Shriek or a Descending Dark to get out of the way or do some damage, and that's definitely an option. The other thing that can happen, if you don't get in between them, they'll eventually go into charging up one of their nail arts. When they do charge up their nail arts, the other brother will kind of assume a defensive posture called a barricade, and if you hit during that barricade, you will face either a double slash or a jump attack counter move. So we already talked about the dash slash. Mato brings his Cyclone Slash into the mix, and when he does that, he'll kind of fly through the air and then finish off with a jump. Usually you can tell that he's going to do this because he'll charge up in the middle of the arena somewhere, rather than the corners. The corners tends to be where Oro charges up, Mato charges up kind of in the middle. So you can kind of tell which brother is which based on where they're charging up, but you definitely want to be ready to get out of the way. You can pogo on Mato during the Cyclone Slash, but you got to get out of the way before that jump slash finisher comes. Now, when you do enough damage to one of the brothers, they will just kind of sit down and take a little rest in the arena. You can dream nail them while they're sitting there if you want to get some more soul for spells, assuming you can find time to do so. But here's the trick to that. If you manage to beat Mato, which is the second brother, first, then Oro is just going to keep on fighting you normally. There's no real change to his AI. He just doesn't do the twin combo anymore. So it's just like the first phase of the fight. However, if you beat Oro first, Mato's going to change a little bit. Mato's going to get a little faster. He has a shorter cooldown on his attacks. He no longer does the little hop between this before the Cyclone Slash. So it changes the pacing of the fight. That's pretty much it, though. If you can beat one, you just want to try and be a little faster and try and beat them both at the same time. And here's the charms that I used for this run of the fight. So Mark of Pride and Long Nail are here to just kind of combine and give you more range, and that helps you to stay away from these boys. I find that the range on all their attacks is really deceptive. So like for your ability to like avoid damage, you know, staying out of the way is good with Long Nail and Mark of Pride. They do stack, so why not use them? And then Quick Slash tends to be my go-to for like hit and run type fights. This is definitely a hit and run fight. You want to get in, get your attacks, get out. And Quick Slash allows you to get a couple hits in when you can. And then because I'm focusing primarily on nail stuff, I went ahead and threw Unbreakable Strength in there because I'm not focusing on spell damage on this particular fight. I use Unbreakable Strength instead. If you wanted to talk about replacements for other things you could do, if you didn't want to focus on Mark of Pride and Long Nail, you could put in Sharp Shadow, and you could also put in where is it? You could use Sharp Shadow in conjunction with your Shade Cloak, right, to do damage while you're charging through them. That gives you some defensive options. If you want to focus on healing, while there are windows of opportunity to heal, you know, using Quick Focus can help you to do that. Using Shape of Un to like position yourself appropriately for a heal, that can be good. But I just tend to not heal during this fight, especially since I'm talking about doing it on Radiant anyway, which is the footage that you're about to see. If you do want to use spells, you know, maybe swapping out your range stuff for Soul Catcher and Shaman Stone, that can increase your damage and get you more soul, so you can do spells more often. Normal stuff here, right? But there you go. This is the build that I used in this fight. So we'll take a look at that now. I'm going to edit in the no-hit fight. This was captured from one of my streaming sessions, so I'm not going to be providing live commentary on this part of the fight. And I might be replying to chat or talking or otherwise being awkward, so I apologize in advance for that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the fight and see what comes up. Boom. Oh yeah. Bad times. All right, all right. Bow. And there you have it. This was one of the hardest Radiant fights, in my opinion, that I ended up saving for the end. This was one of the last 6 that I did. When I did it live on stream, it definitely took longer than I thought it was going to be, probably because I was talking a lot, was distracted a little bit by people, and that's probably honestly some of the fun of streaming. So if you're interested in being part of that fun, definitely come out and watch when I stream. I'm currently in the middle of a Final Fantasy 13 playthrough that I'm recording and doing from streams. So I won't be doing a lot of Hollow Knight, but you know, if there's some interest there, I will definitely do some more. I'm still working on things in Hollow Knight. And if you're interested in this type of content in particular, let me know in the comments which bosses you want me to look at next. I will go ahead and tell you, next one we're going to be doing, because we're doing them Pantheons 1, 2, and 3 in order, we're looking at Shio next, so stay tuned for that. But if there is one you want to see me spend some more time on talking about, please let me know in the comments. And until then, have fun in Hollow Nest.